would have been interesting to see how many votes may have changed because of Gordon's actions, because of the response of their communities after those bills were passed, specifically the gun-free zone bill. I think that we would have very much seen a change in votes on that one. I think you would have seen more nay votes on that than you had before.
So you're saying that some folks were counting on the governor veto in that one?
I very much 100% think that especially school districts, courthouses, places like that were banking that the governor was going to go, no way are we letting guns in these areas. And I think that their response afterwards may or may not have swayed some of those representatives and senators to vote a different way because the response was strong.
Calling the Newcastle City Council regular meeting of Monday, June 3rd, 2024 to order. Please rise for the invocation. Dear Lord, thank you for this dedicated group of people who have come together to serve you and this council. Thank you for your protection over our city, your guiding presence. As we begin our meeting, we declare that your purpose will prevail. Give us the wisdom to walk the path you have set before us. The Apostle Paul encourages us with this truth in Philippians 2:2, then make the joy complete by being like-minded, having the same love, being one in spirit and one in mind. Help us to be unified according to your word, Father. As we work together to fulfill your purpose, we commit to walk in grace, humility, and truth. In Jesus' name, we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for attending. Can I get approval of the agenda?
Madam Mayor, I make a motion that we approve the agenda.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed, same sign. Can I get approval of the minutes of the regular meeting and executive session of Monday, May 20th, 2024?
Madam Mayor, I make a motion that we approve the minutes.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed, same sign. Okay, we have no citizens' business verbal. We do have one citizens' business in writing. Linda Hunt, second block of Sage Street. From Linda Hunt, dated May 21st, 2024. The subject is second block of Sage Street, request of consideration. The majority of the street public use ways in Newcastle are 50 feet wide from the boundary to boundary. The east second block of Sage Street is undeveloped, and that's okay. But would the city please consider using a patrol on that street area to even it across its full width to include the once proposed bike path and its full length to the drainage. Remove the brush, trees, debris, etc. in that entire width, so water run off has nothing to hold it back. The purpose would be so the city riding mowers can groom that occasionally, and the bike path on the Duff Street and ditch, so it would look somewhat like Cambria Creek. The state of Wyoming has declared invasive species and noxious weeds. Both are heavily present in that area. State forestry staff has previously showed me a very invasive wood-like vine there, and of course the Russian olives are considered invasive. Also, there are many noxious and invasive weeds there, to include thistle, creeping jenny, etc. There are weeds in the public use way that grow over 6 feet tall. This overgrowth also draws wildlife because of the cover and food it provides. Skunks occasionally, fox, raccoon, coyotes, and mostly mice and vole, which in turn attract lots of snakes. I have actually seen cat services mow over the thick weed stands and watch them hit snake dens with hundreds of baby snakes coming out of them every which direction. Thank you for your time and consideration in this matter. And then if you look at Public Works report on page 5, I do believe they have that in there. If you look at the top, number 3, the memorandum for second block of Sage Street, which is unimproved. So it looks like the city crew is looking at this. So if you look at C, it says we do our best to maintain the area and mow, but this time of year everything is growing and we do not have the staff or time to groom the area. It is secondary work, and when the weather and time permits, we will mow unless the council has other instructions.
And you said that Greg and Linda have talked about that, is that correct? Somebody said that?
I'm
No.
not sure.
I'm not sure.
Oh. Okay.
Says the Duff Avenue's sewer will disturb this area again, and they'll level it all when they're done with it. That ought to take care of a lot of it.
Yeah. And Greg's not here, so we can't really, I think we can speak with Greg and then update Ms. Hunt on that,
Yeah.
talk with him,
Yeah.
if everybody's okay with
Yeah.
that. So we'll let her know that we'll follow up with Greg.
Okay.
But he's out of town, so it kind of makes it a little hard. Okay, we do have a scheduled budget hearing at 7:15, so we may have to resort back, or stop where we're at to go back to that. So, old business, second reading of ordinance number 2, series 2024, Black Hills Energy Franchise Agreement.
Madam Mayor, I make a motion that we approve the second reading of ordinance number 2, series 2024, Black Hills Energy Franchise Agreement.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Should I read it? Can I read it? All right, so the ordinance number 2, series 2024 is an ordinance granting a non-exclusive franchise from the city of Newcastle, Weston County, Wyoming to Black Hills Power, Inc., doing business as Black Hills Energy, a South Dakota corporation doing business in the state of Wyoming, its successors and assigns to operate an electric utility system within the city of Newcastle, Wyoming, for providing electric services to the city of Newcastle and the inhabitants therefore, and establishing the terms and condition of said franchise, including the effective date thereof. Is there any other discussion on that? Okay, all in favor say aye of second reading.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Okay. Thank you. Okay, old business number 2, revert funds back to land water conservation funds for the Dow Park restroom project.
So this is what we kind of tabled last time because Greg didn't have those numbers. I gave you guys the numbers. The original grant awarded was the $39,950. We did receive $15,602.50 as payment from the LWCF. So we would need to pay that back plus allow them to revert back that additional $24,347.50.
So we owe them how much exactly?
We would actually owe them the $15,602.50, Tom.
Okay.
That was
thank
what
you.
they did give us initially.
And we want to pay that back.
Yes.
And I move that we pay it back.
I second.
Okay, so we have a motion to pay back the $15,602.50. Is there any more discussion? Or is it the 24th?
Dublin, did we also probably need to make a motion to revert the remainder of that back as well?
So how much is the remainder?
The 24,347.50. We didn't receive any of that, but I don't know if they hold that.
Well, I mean, if we revert it back, is it just so that it doesn't come to us? I'm a little confused. Okay, yeah, that would be fine if that's what the council wishes to do. If we don't have it, I mean, we don't technically have any power over it, but we can just say basically that we're not going to accept it, or it'll revert back.
So we need a motion on that?
Well, we need to
I'll put
amend.
an addendum on my motion that says that we will continue reverting with the 24,000 in that we didn't receive it and don't want it.
Thank you.
Yeah, that might be best.
Do we have a second on that?
A
I
second.
second.
Okay, we have a motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Okay. Is there no new business? Committee reports, airport board.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I attended the airport board meeting on Tuesday, the 25th at 12 p.m. at Isabella's. The board just went over a bunch of their general business, and Stacy, did you provide the minutes
Yep.
for that board meeting to the council?
Yes.
Okay. And then one of the, you did a propane purchase, and then they were trying to pin down a date for their fly-in. And then one of the positive things I took away from the meeting is there's a lot of talk about, that I've heard from citizens about, why do we have an airport and things of that nature. And one of the board members suggested that that they contact the newspaper when important things happen. Over the last month, there was an emergency landing at the airport. Pilot had iced up and he needed a place to land in a hurry, and we were able to provide him that service. And then there was also a flyby by some Chinook helicopters, CH-47s, and they thought that was something of note, so they were going to try to contact the newspaper and let them know when things like that were happening. And that's all I have to report.
Thank you. Department head reports. Supervisor Greg Stonka is out of town. Did he have you?
He did
Okay.
ask, he wanted permission to surplus the Cat D 420 backhoe.
In other words, sell it. Okay, I move we let Greg sell his backhoe. Is there any price that we need to establish, or should we let him establish the price?
I don't have that information.
We don't have that.
Because I wouldn't know what to ask for it, so I move that we let him sell it and he establish the price for it.
My second.
Okay, we have a motion and second. Any further discussion?
The backhoe is pretty worn out, and since we got a nice new piece of equipment, it just makes sense to get whatever we can for it.
All in favor, say aye.
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 All those opposed, same sign. All right, moving on to Police Chief Derek Thompson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Calls for service since May 20th, 24, Newcastle Police Department 213, Weston County Sheriff's Office 95, Upton Police Department 19, Newcastle Volunteer Fire Department 6, Weston County Fire Protection District 17, Upton Volunteer Fire Department 3, Newcastle Ambulance 17, and Upton Ambulance 2. The only other things I had, this is more of a question than a report, I guess, but One comment I've heard from a lot of citizens and people have brought to me is that when we do parades, most people don't know that there was a parade happening that day. And just to kind of help the community out, I don't know if it would be any conflict of interest or anything if we advertise those parades on our Facebook page just to get a little bit better attendance. I don't know if that would,
We could do
if
that.
that would border into other people wanting to advertise, so to say, on our page. That would be the only thing that would concern me.
Well,
Yeah, we, on the weekly thing I put up from Greg, I did have that RPM parade on there.
Okay.
But it's not like their flyer type parade.
Right.
But I think, you know, there could be another way of getting it out there, but I think they need to advertise it as well. So I think it needs to be on all levels. So, I may have to stop you in a minute though, to go back to that, just so you know.
Is that a yes, do you guys
Yeah.
think that we could, that would be safe to do?
As long as it's been an event that's approved through the council, I think so.
I know, I was trying to drive down, I couldn't get out of Gradation hardly. I mean, I could, but it was like, I just wanted to go get gas and I had to go clear around everything.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna stop you, I'm sorry.
Okay.
We have a scheduled budget hearing at 7:15, and it's 7:15, so.
Okay, the appropriation for the resolution, whereas on the third day of June 2024, the City of Newcastle, the Budget Making Authority, prepared a city budget for the 24-25 fiscal year ending June 30th, 2025. Whereas a budget was duly entered at large upon the record of the council, and a copy thereof was made available for the public inspection at the office of the city clerk. And whereas a notice of a public hearing on such budget, together with a summary of said budget, was published in the Newsletter Journal, a legal newspaper, published and for general circulation in the county on the 23rd day of May 2024. And whereas a public hearing was held on such budget at the time and place specified in said notice, at which time all interested parties were given an opportunity to be heard. And whereas following such public hearing, no alterations or revisions were made in such proposed budget, now wherefore be it resolved by the council and the city budget be adopted as the official city budget for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2025. Be it therefore resolved that the following appropriations as provided for made for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2025, and the expenditures of such office, department, and spending agency be limited to the amount herein appropriated. The general fund totaling $4,140,518. Details of the water fund, total water fund requirements are $1,952,500. Details of the sewer fund requirements for the total of $2,021,850. And total garbage requirements for $581,800, making the total appropriations $8,696,668.
Madam Mayor, I move that we approve the budget for the 24-25 season as it appears here in the appropriations resolution.
I second.
I second.
Okay, we have a motion and second. Any further discussion? I did speak with the county commissioners once again in regards to possibly splitting the cost with the ambulance service. They have not done their budget yet, so they are keeping it in consideration. So we might be able to amend that down the road, hopefully. So,
When do they do their budget?
I guess they're starting their process, but I'm not sure what their time frame is. I just know they haven't done it yet, so. But,
Okay.
okay, all in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed, same sign. Okay, budget for 2024-25 has been approved. Sorry, Chief Thompson, we'll get back to you.
That's okay, thank you, Madam Mayor. The other thing I wanted to advise the council of is I did
Same time.
apply for a grant the other day. It's through State of Wyoming, but it's Highway Safety Fund. And the purpose of that grant is for overtime for impaired driving enforcement and seatbelt or safety restraint enforcement. It's not a lot of money. It's somewhere between $3,000 and $4,000, and it's based off of your crash numbers. But it'll give us just a little bit of overtime available for impaired driving enforcement and safety restraint enforcement, especially during times of the year where we have more problems with that. I believe they'll fund that grant in the fall if we receive it. The chances of us receiving it are pretty good. But it would be something we could use, say, around the holidays when impaired driving is a bigger problem in our community, to get a little bit of enforcement, people on the street, visibility, things of that nature. And then the last thing I wanted to actually talk to Mr. Stump about this before I brought it to the council, but I know he was working on some speed signs, is that correct?
For where?
He was looking to put them on, I think, Washington and the bypass. I found those to be pretty effective, and given the number of investigations we're doing is taking away from the ability to do the traffic enforcement that we need to, and I thought that would be helpful, especially because we're starting to see a big uptick in tourist speeders that are flying down the bypass. So that's something that I wanted to explore, and I know Greg was working on something in reference to that, but does anybody know, does that come through?
Was he waiting for the approval of the right-of-way from YDOT, or did he already have that? Because I thought he was looking at the approval from YDOT for the
Okay.
right-of-way, for the flashing ones.
Right.
So I don't know where he's at on that.
Okay.
We've discussed it in the streets committee a couple of times, and I hadn't heard anything else about it.
Okay,
For a
I'll get in
while.
contact with him.
Yeah, he should be back Wednesday.
Okay. And that's all I have.
All right, thank you. Any questions for Chief?
Discussing these signs.
Are there other kinds of grants that you can apply for, Chief? I thought that was kind of exciting that you.
There are. We gotta have the time for one. This was very simple. It was a 2-page check the box, fill in your name, and we were done. And it helps to have somebody with a little more experience write those grants. But there are other grants out there that we'll be trying to apply for once we have a little bit more
Could you
time.
kind of look up some of those and then bring to the council what is out there? We'd like to know.
Yep, I should do.
Thank you.
Has he brought anything up to you about probably some messes or ordinance stuff that we need to look at on North Shade Circle Drive?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we have addressed some of that, so.
We were seeing some pictures of that to see what could be done there for cleanup.
Yeah, they warned them the other day about that, and we're gonna be following up with a citation if they don't get some stuff cleaned up, so.
Okay. And then I don't know if you're available for a community meeting tomorrow, maybe at 5:30.
Are you talking about the personnel committee? Oh,
Personnel
sorry.
committee's on Wednesday, I believe. I believe this one.
Police committee.
Police committee meeting.
I can do 5 o'clock, I think, if it doesn't last more than an hour. I have another meeting at 6.
Okay.
What now?
Right here or downstairs? Where would you like to meet?
Downstairs would be fine.
Okay. So 5 o'clock tomorrow downstairs?
Okay.
All right. Anything else for Chief Thompson? Okay. I apologize, I missed ordinance number 3, series 2024, when we were doing the budget hearing. Ordinance is providing for revenue to be raised by taxation with the city of Newcastle, Wyoming for the fiscal year ending in June 30th, 2025. Be it ordained by the governing body of the city of Newcastle, Newcastle, Wyoming. Section 1, the revenue shall be raised by general taxation within the city of Newcastle, Wyoming by the means of taxation levied upon taxable property within the corporate limits of said city for the purpose of defraying expenses and paying liabilities of said city as hereinafter set forth to wit. The general purpose is 8 mills. Redemption of bonds is none. Bond interest is none. Total to be raised by taxation is 8 mills. If we can get a motion on.
Madam Mayor, I make a motion that we pass ordinance number 3, series 2024.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and second. Any further discussion?
Council,
It might be good to make the citizens aware that we pass this every year. It's nothing new.
Yeah, we didn't raise their taxes.
Council, the one thing that I did want to clarify before we do move forward with passing this is that I would like to have the council actually have a motion on suspending the 3 readings that are usually required for ordinances. This is an emergency ordinance, and that would be in accordance with WS 15-1-115. And that way that we're not in violation of having to do the 3 readings on the budget.
And then my motion to suspend the ordinance rules, reference section 15-1-115 for the requirements of 3 readings on ordinance number 3, series 2024.
I second.
Any further discussion?
That should be.
All right, all in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed, same sign. Or do you want me to just go and sign it? Yeah. Moving on to City Attorney Dublin Hughes.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I believe that I have nothing to report.
All right, any questions for City Attorney?
You got all our money back from Idaho.
I wish.
All right, moving on to City Clerk Treasurer Stacy Haggerty.
I have nothing to report either, Madam Mayor.
Cool. Do we have a motion for claims against the city dated June 3rd, 2024?
Madam Mayor, I move we pay our bills.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed, same sign. Okay, would you note that Darren abstained? Can I get a motion to move into executive session regarding Wyoming Statute 16-4-405 III personnel?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed, same sign. Okay, moving into executive session at 7:28.
Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
In addition to the weekly printed version of the newsletter journal, we also promote our community and share important information on our award-winning website, newslj.com, and in our weekly email newsletter, Nuke Now. We also connect with readers through various social media platforms and invite you to check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can even take a look at a recent meeting of the City Council, School Board, or County Commission on our YouTube channel. We do hope that you will go to newslj.com and subscribe today, and we look forward to making all of our great content available to you. But regardless of your level of support, we thank you from the bottom of our hearts for doing your part to preserve a free and independent local press.